grow the middle class, why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin,
every morning, I've woken up as Prime Minister, and I've been inspired by the resiliency and the generosity and the determination that characterizes Canadians. This is what has driven me on a daily basis, and it's been a privilege to be Prime Minister. This is why, since 2015, I fought for this country, for you, Canadians, to strengthen the middle class. That's why Canadians mobilized to support each other during the pandemic, to move reconciliation forward, to defend free trade on our continent, and to support Ukraine and democracy, and to fight against climate change as well, and to prepare the economy for the future. We're really going through a critical time in world history.
My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter. Dans mon fort intérieur, je me suis toujours battu.
I've always been a fighter. I've always been a fighter because I really care for Canada and Canadians, and I've always been driven by what's in the best interests of Canadians as well. And the fact is that despite our best efforts to get through the parliamentary impasse, Parliament has been paralysed for months after the longest minority parliament in the history of our country. This is why this morning I met with the Governor-General to tell her that we need a new parliamentary session, and she granted that request, and the House will therefore be prorogued until the 24th of March. During Christmas, I had time to think and to have long conversations with my family about our future. Throughout my career, all success I've had personally has been due to their support and encouragement. So yesterday evening at dinner, I shared with my children the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as leader of the Liberal Party of Canada and Prime Minister of Canada once the party will have chosen its next leader after a national competitive and robust process. Yesterday evening, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to take the necessary steps. The country deserves a clear choice in the next election. And it's become obvious for me that if I'm focused on internal fights, I can't be the best option for that election. The Liberal Party of Canada is an important institution in the history of our great country and of our democracy as well. A new Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party will carry the values and the ideas of the Liberal Party into the next election. I'm looking forward to watching that process over the coming months. We were elected for the third time in 2021 to strengthen the economy after the pandemic and to move the interests of Canada forward in a complex world. And this is what I will continue to do and what we will all continue to do for Canadians.
The Liberal Party of Canada is an important institution in the history of our great country and democracy. A new Prime Minister and leader of the Liberal Party will carry its values and ideals into that next election. I'm excited to see the process unfold in the months ahead. We were elected for the third time in 2021 to strengthen the economy post-pandemic and advance Canada's interests in a complicated world. And that is exactly the job that I and we will continue to do for Canadians. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now go to questions, starting with Laurence Martin, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour, Monsieur Trudeau.
Hello, Mr. Trudeau. You wanted to go up against Mr. Poilievre, but there's been infighting in your party for the past few months. Why have you decided to make this decision today? Why did you change your mind? Well, as you know, I'm not someone who steps back from a fight, especially such an important fight for our party and for the country, in fact. But
je fais cette job
I do this job because the interests and the welfare of our country and our democracy are important to me. And it's become very, very clear that I cannot be the leader to take the party into the next election because of internal divisions.
As you all know, I am a fighter. And I am not someone who backs away from a fight, particularly when a fight is as important as this one is. But I have always been driven by my love for Canada, by my desire to serve Canadians, and by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And Canadians deserve a real choice in the next election. And it has become obvious to me with the internal battles that I cannot be the one to carry the Liberal standard into the next election.
Vous êtes au pouvoir depuis près de 10 ans.
You've been in office for almost 10 years. Canada has changed under your government. If there was one accomplishment that you're most proud of, is there also perhaps a regret that you might want to share with us as well? Well, in 2015, we were elected on a promise of working for the middle class in this country. And this is what we succeeded in doing, I think. We reduced poverty. We helped families. We created an economy that works for many more people in preparation for a digital future and for the greater impact of climate change as well. We've done a lot of work with Canadians. Canada is a better country today, thanks to the work that we've all done over the past few years. Well, a regret. I continue to think that if our electoral system had been changed, for people to be able to have a first or second or third choice, parties would have spent more time trying to find common ground rather than trying to
Mais je ne pouvais pas de
build
façon
polarization in our country, but I couldn't change our electoral system unilaterally in this country.
We got elected in 2015 to fight for the middle class, and that's exactly what we've done over the past years. We reduced their taxes, we increased the benefits to families, we made sure the economy was focused on working for everyone and not just a few, and that has changed. That has dropped poverty rates in Canada, that has brought more people into the workforce, that has moved us forward on reconciliation in a way that has deeply improved the opportunities and success of Canadians despite the incredibly difficult times the world is going through right now. There's lots more work to be done, and I know that this party and this country and Canadians will keep doing it. If I have one regret, particularly as we approach this election, well, there are probably many regrets that I will think of, but I do wish that we'd been able to change the way we elect our governments in this country so that people could simply choose a second choice or a third choice on the same ballot, so that parties would spend more time trying to be people's second or third choices, and people would have been looking for things they have in common instead of trying to polarize and divide Canadians against each other. I think in this time, figuring out how to pull together and find common ground remains something that is really important for democracies, but I could not change unilaterally without support of other parties our electoral system. That wouldn't have been responsible.
Prochaine question.
Tonda McCharles, Toronto Star. Prime Minister, up until 3 weeks ago, you were intending to stay, and it seems that the event 3 weeks ago of Ms. Freeland coming out and saying you were firing her as your finance minister was the catalyst that brought us here today. So can you explain your side of what happened there?
Chrystia has been by my side for close to 10 years now. She has been an incredible political partner through just about everything we have done as a government and as a party over the past decade. I had really hoped that she would agree to continue as my Deputy Prime Minister and take on one of the most important files that not just this government but this country is facing, but she chose otherwise. In regards to what actually happened, I am not someone who's in the habit of sharing private conversations. Chrystia a été depuis presque 10